After my marriage, I started preparing my first meal and I served it to my husband. I expected a glorious, loving smile on his face. But blink, a red light lit all over his face and his mind's voice was crying out loud, am I going to eat this kind of food for the rest of my life? My dear friends, I prepared the food exactly like how my grandmother had suggested. But why couldn't I bring in that divine taste which my grandmother brought in every meal she prepared? My grandmother is a sweet lady and the most adorable chef I ever know in my life. People used to remember the food which she prepared even after decades. She was so wonderful. She was married at the age of 15 but lost her husband at the age of 32 in a road traffic accident. But she enjoyed cooking food for everybody. Once she was so sick, but still she was preparing food for all of us. I said, Grandmother, you look so sick. Why are you doing this? You have to take rest now. She had a gentle grin on her face and she said, you know something? I cooked food for everybody who came for your grandfather's funeral immediately after his body left the house. I was shocked. I couldn't even imagine. I asked her, Grandma, why did you do that? You should have asked somebody else or just ordered food from a hotel nearby. She said, such facilities were not available those days. And I couldn't see all our relatives hungry and sad. She lost her husband and she was talking about others being hungry. Such was her love towards all of us. She could tolerate anything in this world, but not anybody in our house staying hungry. Once I refused to eat the food because I was angry with my mother. She came up to me and said, Purni, are you going to eat now? I said, no, I don't want to eat anything. She brought the food in the plate and she said, if you're not going to eat now, there's no point in me staying in this house. Saying so, with tears rolling down from her eyes, she started feeding the food for me. Even today, I remember the smell of the food which she fed. Even today, I'm longing for those hands which fed the food with so much of love. It was November 2012. She reached her heavenly abode. All the relatives had gathered in our house. There were a few strangers too. And one of them walked up to me and said, I was working for your grandfather before 40 years. And during that time, your grandmother was the one who cooked and served food for all the servants who were there working during that time. Even today, I remember the love with which she served and the taste of the food. Something really shifted in me. He also added, I have come here to pay my final tribute and gratitude towards your grandmother for all the love she showered upon us. Remembering somebody after 40 years, even remembering the taste of the food and the love. I understood something so important. I understood how much love she showed. After 1 year, it was her first death anniversary. I wanted to show my gratitude and to pay my tribute. I called all my friends and I prepared the best meal from my grandmother's cuisine. While preparing, I had the thought that this food must not only fill their stomachs but also their hearts. And that turned out to be the best meal I ever prepared. Even now, my friends remember that day's meal so very well. I understood very clearly what was that magical pill which my grandmother added in every meal she prepared. It was the unconditional love. Now the words of Steve Jobs really sound meaningful to me. Your work is going to fill great part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do a great work. And the only way to do a great work is by loving what you do. I started mixing love in everything I did. My food which I cooked turned out to be wonderful, and the connection which I had with my family became more beautiful. When I started mixing love in the coaching sessions which I did with my clients, the transformation which occurred was magical. And when I started mixing little bit of love in my speeches, they really transformed my audience. They enjoyed it. And today I'm standing in front of you delivering my 40th speech, which has made me a distinguished Toastmaster. It was love. Even today, my grandmother is not physically present, but I believe she still remains immortal in our hearts, in the words we speak and in the deeds we do. Fellow Toastmasters and my dear friends, do you want the world to remember you? Do you want to be immortal today and always? Mix little bit of love in everything you do. May it be big or small. Thank you so much.